This game was over the moment India bowled a single delivery of spin. There's been lots of talk about intent, and people are suggesting Virat Kohli should be dropped, and England and rain and all these other things. But when it came down to it, the minute Akshar Patel bowled a delivery, this game looked over. And certainly in his second over, it probably was completely gone. And that's because this match was played in Guyana on a wicket that helps spin a lot. And India is really good at that. But more crucially, England is not. They don't bat particularly well against spin. They don't bowl spin particularly well. Not an ideal situation when you come to the Caribbean for a World Cup. And that is why India is in the final, and England, well, it stopped raining on the field, but it started raining in their hearts. Oh, hi there. If you like cricket in a way that brings you to, the Good Areas channel, then I think we have the game for you. Hit Wicket is a mobile game that is way more than just about, smashing your screen. It's about strategy and what you really try and do inside a cricket game. In fact, for each ball, it shows you a percentage of how it will go, depending on whether you're going to take a single or go for a four. All you have to do is a simple tap. It's not smash, smash, smash. It's think and cricket. However, there's still a little bit of fun and gaming involved because you can get superpowers when you get things right. And it's not just about playing either. You can build your own team and coach it and manage it and do all those other things that, let's be honest, you really want to do all the time when it comes to cricket. You are the owner, coach, and captain. Let's be honest, this is already your dream. And there are no ads. It's just cricket. It's a game of cricket in your pocket that you can play during a drinks break that lets you make all the decisions and also play the game out. So download the game now. Bring out the cricket pundit in you and download Hit Wicket free for mobile. Because Hit Wicket is a cricket game made for you. Stick it in your pocket today. But it is worth remembering that India really went for the intent on this one. If you look at Virat Kohli's wicket specifically, backing away, giving himself room. He'd already smashed a big six, and now he was trying to hit another one back down the ground. India is a different side. I thought when they saw the first couple of balls roll on the ground, especially when Rohit tried to swipe one across the line, that's it. The old India was going to come out. Their instincts are too strong. And while Virat Kohli hasn't made any runs in this tournament, by continuing to attack and showing he is part of the new mindset, he's allowed everyone else to play that way. Like if Virat Kohli is willing to fail and fail and fail by trying to attack, it means that everyone else has that ability as well. England, on the other hand, I think are at their absolute best when they're trying to get wickets early on. And I'm not sure they went for them as hard as I've seen them do that before. The most notable thing was the fact that Reece Topley seemed to bowl cross seam at times and cutters rather than actually trying to swing the ball back in and hoop it massively, which is his other main skill. I'm not saying he made a mistake because there were certainly lots of balls chipped up in the air and everything else early on, but it didn't feel like they were going all in for the kill the way that I think England is at their absolute best. England isn't a good bowling lineup when it comes to containing. They're much better when they try and manufacture wickets. But the real problem, I think, for England was that they didn't use the conditions quite as well as they could have. The ball was keeping low, but they didn't put it on the right length enough. When they got a couple of deliveries right, they usually put some pressure back on India. But the other problem was that the pressure came all the way back at them because of the way that Rohit Sharma was playing. And this is the Rohit Sharma that we really wanted to see in this World Cup. Essentially, what India have managed to do is turn Rohit Sharma into Brendan McCullum, which is kind of a crime against nature because of how elegant Rohit Sharma is compared to the sort of masculine energy of Brendan McCullum. However, when you get your captain to buy in like this, and we've seen this with Brendan McCullum, we've seen this with Owen Morgan, we've even seen it with associate teams like Kyle Kutzer when he was with Scotland. When your captain says, okay, I'm willing to take all these risks, it tells everyone else that they can do the same thing. But specifically, why Rohit Sharma is so good at this is he doesn't need a flat pitch to play this way. He is so good on wickets that favour bowlers. Even a wicket like this, which was a little bit tough, he still looked like he could put pressure back. And so England never felt that comfortable. For instance, England would have loved to have bowled some Moeen Ali. And it wasn't just about the matchups that they didn't bowl Moeen Ali. It's the fact that Rohit Sharma at any stage was likely to hit a couple of big shots against him in the mood he was in. And that pressure just kept England off balance the whole time. The other thing that didn't quite go right for England in this case was the rain. Because usually you would think at that stage it would start to rain a little bit, there would be a break in the innings straight away, and that would be a big advantage to the bowling team. The reason it didn't help England as much this time is because they actually stayed out there playing in the rain. Again, it was way too wet to be playing a World Cup semi-final in, but they kept going, which meant that Adil Rashid, their leg spinner, had to essentially skid the ball through. They wasted some of his best deliveries while it was raining, so England didn't get the best of that either. And the other thing that happened, and this has literally never ever happened before, I think this is the first time in the history of Sky's career he has made runs at a World Cup against a really good team. Wait, I'm just hearing that's nonsense. His last couple of knocks against really good teams have been very important. And even though he didn't score as quickly as Rohit, because he can hit boundaries and at any stage he can kind of flip a ball away, it just kept that pressure on England and they weren't 100% sure what to do. And so they went with Liam Livingstone, which is not really their second choice spinner, right? He's not even really their sixth choice bowler. He's a guy that they have to turn to at certain points. The issue for England is, anytime Liam Livingstone bowls well, it's actually a problem for England against good teams. And here's why. Most other teams play spin better than England and bowl spin better than England. So if Liam Livingstone is getting something out of the pitch, you can bet your bottom dollar that the other team with their better spinners are going to be even better than him. But all credit to Livingstone because he did bowl very well. And also, England believed so much in him that he bowled an over at the death, which again is another surefire sign that the wicket is going to help the opposition spinners more than yours. But it led to a small mini mistake for a moment because India could have sent Shivam Dubey out and instead they went with Jadeja, and so England stole another over a spin. But India still did very well at the death. They found boundaries and they managed to put a lot of pressure back on England. Hardik Pandya, who everyone had been questioning all the way through the World Cup, suddenly looked like the kind of Hardik Pandya who could whack fours. It was probably a pitch that suited him a little bit more, but what a time to find form. And because he found form, and Jadeja, who again, people had been questioning for a long time, because they both put those runs together, you're talking about 40 runs there from 22 balls. In a low-scoring game, that is absolutely massive. And until they came together, it looked like India was going to score around par. That was the partnership that put them above par. And in golf, you want to be below par, but in cricket, you want to be above par. It's actually quite confusing. We probably should use another term. But maybe one of the most fascinating things from that first innings is that there was a good end and there was a bad end to bowl at. At one end, the ball was keeping very, very low. And outside of Chris Jordan's over, which didn't cost England the game, but oh my, it certainly didn't help. When all he had to do was hit the wicket and try and get the ball around the top of the bails, and instead he went for half volleys and got whacked absolutely everywhere. But even with his over, his end still went for a run and over less than the other end. But more importantly, that's where all the wickets came from. That was going to be really important, the way that India managed those ends. And let's be honest, at the halfway point, while England were behind, there was always the chance of a Phil Salt all-out attack that could change the game very, very quickly. And while that didn't quite happen, England had a sneaky good first over from Bumrah. And so after a couple of overs, they were in a really good position. And then Arshdeep came on and went for runs again. I actually think Siraj is a much better choice for this Guyana wicket than Arshdeep was, but they have decided on Arshdeep and they went for him, and he's got them a lot of wickets so far. And of course, in this particular game, he coughed up runs. I don't know if that's why Akshar was brought on. I guess he was probably going to bowl that over anyway. But he did come on the back of England having their biggest chance of winning that game, and within one ball, Akshar had changed everything. Joss Buttler tried to reverse sweep, the ball went up in the air, and he was gone. The following over, Bumrah came back, and you're going to be shocked. He didn't bowl 2 bad overs in a row. They got another wicket, and then the following over, Akshar got another wicket, and this game was over. There's going to be a lot of talk about the England team and where they are now, and I've already had a question about whether Matthew Mott should lose his coaching position and everything else. But when you look at the last 4 World Cups, England have won one of them. That one was played in Australia. The other 3 was the UAE, India, and now in the West Indies. So the one that doesn't spin all that much, England did really well. The other 3 where it spins a lot, they didn't. They don't play spin well. If you don't believe me, have a look at Sam Curran getting a ball that he missed by a long distance because he didn't pick it. And he didn't pick it so poorly that he also thought he was a chance of getting the review overturned. That's how England play spin. England don't score quickly against spin. They don't average a lot against spin. Do you know a team that does really well against spin that isn't India? South Africa. Check where they are. Even Australia do very well against spin, and they probably had a better tournament than England. They just didn't make the semi-final. I think England have 2 huge problems going ahead. One is this changing generation. The next lot just doesn't look as good. And the second one is they need to find people who can score against spin, and they need to find better spinners. Whereas India have now got themselves into a position where they are in the World Cup final, and they have a huge chance of winning it against another team that has an even longer hoodoo than they do. Whose hoodoo can voodoo like they do? But it will certainly be poo-poo for one of these sides. And the problem for India now is that they have more avenues to win than South Africa do this game. South Africa only have a few narrow paths to victory, although those are certainly massive strengths for their team. As India have quite a few different ways they can beat South Africa. But the problem now is, if India do manage to lose this game, and let's be honest, they're about a 55% chance of winning this game, which means that South Africa are a 45% chance of winning this game. And if South Africa win this game, India won't be losing to like England that has been dominating recent white ball tournaments. They won't be losing to a Pakistan who occasionally just plays absolutely brilliant at an ICC trophy. And they won't be losing to Australia who always beats pretty much everyone in all finals. No, if India lose this game, they will lose to South Africa, a team that has a far deeper and richer curse than the recent one that has been beset on the Indian players. That is not the team that you want to lose against. But this Indian team, they're not playing like that at the moment. Of course, these things can change very quickly when Marco Jansen takes 2 or 3 wickets early on. Or Quinton de Kock starts slapping the ball everywhere. So we find ourselves in the final with 2 unbeaten teams, both of which trying to remain so. But realistically, they're also trying to slay the ghosts of their past. Game on. This World Cup you can catch us every single day over at Jarrod Kimber Live. It is like the videos here, except they come out quicker and I forget what I'm saying occasionally. We have sometimes up to 3 videos a day on that channel, but we usually just have our scoreboard and normal podcasts. But you know, sometimes when a game is good, I just got to go live. So gorge yourself over at Jarrod Kimber Live on my, I don't know, liveness?